Oh, my friend, let me get you the jungle juice first. It tastes like I milked it straight from the jungle's balls, but it gets the job done. Are you thirsty, my friends?
Hello everybody, my name is YujimboXD and welcome to the channel, and today we return to Sea of Bones, a homebrewed 5th edition game of Dungeons & Dragons. This is a homebrewed 5th edition game of D&D. We'll be using Roll20 for the duration of the campaign. For those who don't know, Roll20 is a website that is used to host a variety of role-playing games like Dungeons & Dragons, and has the tools we need to play a tabletop game online when meeting in person just isn't possible. Alright, we can get into the video, but if you are new here, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit the subscribe button, and if you want to see us live, you can check us out here on YouTube or over on Twitch. Links are in the description. Alright, let's get into the video.
Welcome back to Sea of Bones, a 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons game, written and hosted by me, Matt Krolikowski. First, I want to thank all of our sponsors, of which there are still none. Longtime cyber stalkers of me will recall that I petitioned the Archons at PepsiCo for a sponsorship from Mountain Dew. I hope they do the right thing and sponsor me. Look to camera and smile. For tonight's session, a brief introduction to our party to remind our audience. We're going to start with Jack.
Hello, the internet. I am Jack Nightshadow.
He is our tiefling, I believe a Hexblade warlock. Sibo, you want to say hey to everybody?
Hello, everybody. I'm Sibo, being played by Rishbo Baggins. I am a gnome bard with big aspirations, but tiny feet.
Lovely. Jareth?
Hello, I am YujimboXD, or Jim as some people call me. This is my channel, and I'm desperately trying to remember how I did my voice last week, but I play Jareth the Verdan. He sounds a little bit something like this.
Next up on the docket, Kaz.
Hello, I am Kasurga. I am Air Genasi. I cast spells.
He is a storm sorcerer. He's too humble to admit it. And last, filling out our roster is Willie.
Willie Doolittle, most likely.
Oh.
But yeah, just my average human fighter.
So, when we last left our audacious adventurers, they'd begun quite an explosive undertaking. They had met Lady Sansa, a goblin wizard, and her orc master Wagler. Sansa begged the party for aid to rescue her master, an incredible seer whose cognitive capabilities have been rapidly waning in the throes of dementia. A massive undead horde attacked everyone, and Sansa offered to use her master's ship, an ancient magical Haruan airship, to escape. The primal cauldron embedded in the vessel grants this ship with the ability to utilize connections to the elemental plane to gain more powers. With Sansa's guidance, our players used an elemental air crystal to blast their ship safely into flight, escaping the undead. Sansa suspected that the horde had been seeking the Rod of the Sea King, an artifact which Waglif's mind held the location and keys to find. The group had briefly begun to discuss their next course of action when magical byproducts erupted from the cauldron after its first use after retrieval from storage. So here is the dragon made of fire. It's not a literal dragon. And here is little teeny water elementals running around. Right now, our party's on the deck of the ship dealing with these monsters. Sansa, raised her hands up and prepared to just defend Waglif, if possible. And it is first up in combat, Jack.
I was going to fly 20 feet into the air. I have this funny thing where I can shoot raw force at people, which I'd like to see it happen.
18.
That is a hit.
But 12 force damage.
A very heavy hit.
That is my turn.
All right, Sibo will level his crossbow and fire at the fire drake. Yeah, I'm just going to shoot him with the crossbow. Yeah, 19.
Yeah, that's a hit.
4 points of piercing damage. 25 feet
Fire
right there.
effigy.
That is, unfortunately, my turn.
All right. Next are Les Monsters. The elemental dragon also moves 20 feet up, and then it charges Jack. Charges at you and completely misses. Just an angry ball of fire shaped like a dragon. The water elementals, on the other hand, only one elemental can attack Willie. The other one just does a double move. One of the elementals is going to go for Sibo. So Kaz was attacked by 2 water elementals. He took 4 bludgeoning damage from 1 strike, and he took 4 piercing damage from a second strike, and must make a constitution save or be poisoned. You make the save and are not poisoned. 1 water elemental misses Willie, and 1 water elemental misses Sibo. That is the monster's turn. Sansa spends hers using a spell to defend Waglif. Jareth.
All right, Jareth, seeing his newfound companion being swarmed by, what are these, water elementals?
Yes, they
Okay.
are water
Apparently.
elementals.
I guess I'll just Eldritch Blast the one that's to his south, that one.
Yep, definitely hits, and a 14 kills it. Is that your turn, Jareth?
I'm gonna move too. There, now it's my turn.
Kaz.
Neat trick. Check this one out. Shocking fist. I'm gonna uppercut the elemental with a shocking grasp.
That's definitely a hit.
5 lightning.
The elemental definitely appears to be shocked by it, but is not killed. Is that your turn?
Yeah.
And next we're on a Willy.
All right, it's a 13.
Yeah.
13 against which one?
The one to my right.
That's a hit. 8 slashing damage, and you slash the elemental to pieces somehow. Very sloshy slashing. That elemental is now dead.
Then I shall attack the other one.
That's definitely a hit. 7, you slash the other one to pieces with your sloshy slashing. Is that your turn, Willie?
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah.
Jack, your turn.
Jack will say out loud to the dragon, all hot and fiery, but God, you're a wet fart. And I cast Vicious Mockery.
Actually, it hits.
It fails. Okay. It
Yeah.
takes 1 psychic damage, and its next attack has disadvantage.
The whole time it's rolling its attack, it's just thinking about that comment, like, I am not a wet fart.
Is that
Flashback
Jack's
to all the
turn?
time it's in the dragon schoolyard and all the dragon kids are calling it a wet fart.
Wet fart,
I-
wet fart,
I-
everyone's
I-
a wet fart.
I don't want to be a wet fart.
Is that your turn, Jack?
Yeah.
Sibo.
Well, I will provoke an attack of opportunity by moving away 5 feet from the elemental.
It does hit you for 4 bludgeoning damage.
All right, Sibo will fire his crossbow at the elemental. 7.
The crossbow bolt thunks harmlessly into the deck of the ship.
Well, I will then bonus action inspiration Jack. I look up at Jack and I say,
And you're the wind beneath my wings.
and you're inspired. Actually, I can still move some more. Hold on. 25 feet next to the orc.
Cool. All right. Monsters. First, dragon is going to attempt to attack Jack. Geez, the dragon is the wettest fart ever because he misses with both attacks. All right. Sibo is hit for 4 piercing damage and must make a constitution save or be poisoned
Ow, the water, it's so pointy.
to make the save. And the other one hits Lady Sansa. The other 2 attack Oleg, and they both hit. Oleg looks fairly injured, and the last one attacks Kaz, and it misses. So that's the monster's turn. Jareth.
So I say to Cass, I think you got that one. And I'm going to shoot at the one next to Oleg with an Eldritch Blast.
That's a hit. The elemental pops under the force of your blast.
And I'm not done yet. I open up my spellbook and channel a inner light, and a bit of radiance shoots from the book and hits Oleg, heals him. I'm going to roll an additional 2d6.
Ooh, there you go.
Budget
Now-
paladin. Budget paladin.
Now
Oh,
Oleg
that
is
budget
looking
paladin.
top dog.
I'm going to move down here, and that will be my turn.
Oleg takes deep inhale and appears much more invigorated again from your radiant burst of light. Jareth. Kaz, your turn.
You know, it's very impressive that you're still standing. He just looks at the elemental. But I got a jet. And with that, I'm going to burst 10 feet up in the air. No attack of opportunity.
Kaz uses his tempestuous magic to leap into the air 10 feet as a gust of wind carries him upward, and his hair looks fantastic as always.
Cass is going to use his boots to continue flying, to fly over here. All right. I am going to use my magic to fly up 10 feet in the air, and then my movement speed to continuously fly with my boots 35 feet down the length of the ship, eyeing up 2 targets currently engaged with crew members. Do you see who I'm picking? Cass is going to fly into the air and shout, "Chaotic Barrage!" And I am going to cast a twinned Chaos Bolt, one on each of them.
That is a miss. That is a hit.
All right, I want to freeze it.
The elemental freezes into an ice sculpture and is killed. So now you have a lovely ice sculpture.
All right, and that is Cass's turn.
Okay, Willie.
All right, so that's 30 feet. Somebody measured it. So, can we right next to him? Let's do this.
15 is a hit on that. 9. Willie has killed his 3rd water element with your sloshy slashing.
And that's it then.
All right, Willie's turn is complete. Jack.
Okay, he's missed me, not only just because of the Vicious Mockery, he's just plain up missed me.
Yep.
I genuinely think you can be better than this. Vicious Mockery. I'm insulting him by being sympathetic to him.
He fails the wisdom save.
He takes 2 more
And
psychic
2
damage,
more
and he has,
psychic.
once again, disadvantage on the next attack he makes.
And that was your turn, yeah?
Yep.
Sibo.
All right, Sibo's turn. I got this elemental up my ass. I gotta get out of here. I'm gonna use the disengage action 25, and that's my turn.
The dragon misses the first attack against Jack.
They're
Second
back.
attack is a hit, though. It is 6 slashing damage. The water elemental goes for Sansa. Kaz is up in the air, so the water elemental just moves. And Jareth.
Surprised it didn't come after me, honestly. I was the closest target. All right, well, I'm just going to Eldritch Blast it then.
That is a negative, sir.
Well, I'm going to go back up here then. And that will end my turn.
Kaz.
Cass, seeing that the elemental from above is still alive, would land back on the deck. And is like, all right, let's finish this. Lightning Whip. It's a DC. Strength save.
Ooh. Yes, it fails and is killed by your light.
I would then
Done?
get splashed with its corpse because I'd be pulling it the 10 feet towards me.
You can enjoy that watery corpse.
I do take a pose, both fists on my hips, just as the glistening fades.
All right, Willie, it's your turn.
Double movement, wind up here. And during
Cool.
that movement, I scream out, coming to help. In orc again.
All right, that's Willie's turn. Jack.
Finally, you did something. Good job, buddy. As I apply the Hexblade's curse to it.
You have an
Unfortunately, no.
inspiration die. You have
Oh,
an
you're right.
inspiration die.
You're right. Does a 14 hit it?
It does. Without the inspiration, you
Let's
would have
go.
For 10 damage.
missed. The fire dragon appears to be weakened if elementals can appear so, but it is still up and fighting. Is that your turn?
Yeah, I only have the one attack.
All right, Sibo.
We got him on the ropes, guys. Come on.
I'm going to lower my crossbow and attack the water elemental. 11.
The crossbow bolt thunks harmlessly away.
I'll then move 5, 10, and that's my turn.
All right. The dragon was not viciously mocked this time and is able to hit Jack once for 6 slashing damage, and the other attack does not hit.
Oof.
And the water elemental attacks Willie, and it is a hit for 4 bludgeoning damage. And it is Jareth's turn.
All right, I'll move back down, and because Eldritch Blast has a ridiculous range, I'm going to shoot at the water elemental in front of Willie.
The 11 does not hit. All right. Anything else, Jareth?
Nope.
Kaz, your turn.
Cass will bonus action, uses Tumultuous Magic to boost 10 feet into the air, and then continuously fly another 35 feet. Well, I'm going to go after the other flying creature, as I am also flying roughly about 15 feet in the air. You know what also has a long range?
Bolt.
Chaos Bolt. You'll see him grab a vial hanging around his neck, and you go, Chaos Missile! And jut his arm forward, shooting a bolt of just chaotic energy towards the dragon.
19 is a hit, so 12 damage.
Oh, 13.
Okay. The dragon appears considerably weaker, and that your turn, Cass?
Yes.
All right, Willie.
Alright. And I guess I'm just gonna do a normal attack. 17 for the water elemental. 6
Ooh,
damage.
almost kills the water elemental. Not quite.
Mm.
Oh, no, a 10 does not hit. Are you finished, Willie?
Yep.
Jack, your turn.
Nice.
That's a hit.
That'll do.
And you're
13.
able to finish off the elemental dragon.
And I heal back to full.
Is that your turn, Jack?
Yeah, that was my turn.
Sibo, can you do it? Can you hit with 1 crossbow bolt?
All right, Sibo gets down on one knee. He cleverly aims and releases.
Oh, Jesus.
There you go.
Let's
How
go.
perfect.
All right, Sibo sticks his tongue out and he closes his eye. All right, just line it up with his shot and gazoops.
10 points of piercing damage.
Yes, Sibo
Holy
does it
fuck.
with a mighty, wildly aimed shot like a crazed squirrel. He pops the elemental with his crossbow bolt, and combat has ended. Congratulations, everybody. Sansa ensures that Wagluff is okay, quickly wheels him down below, and then comes back up and she says, I've put Wagluff in his chambers for now, so he'll be secure. Let me assess the cauldron quickly. And she reaches inside and she says, oh, it seems there's some further leftover waste. And that's your loot. As you all recall, Oleg is also on the ship, and he comes over to join you all and specifically looks to Jareth. Thank you for your rescue. I did not think that I would survive that,
No problem. We always look out for our friends around here.
but that was too much. I do not want Carlin and Zan to go through that again. So, When we get to the next city, Saltspire, you can leave us there.
Can't blame you. Place is dangerous. Lady Sansa, does that happen very often at the Cauldron? Should we be worried?
Fortunately, no. I believe that was just some residual magical energy from before we put that into storage, or as I said, crystal may have been expired. It was many years since we last actually used the cult. I did not expect that at all. Hopefully that shouldn't happen again. Hopefully we can find some pure crystals to continue powering the ship. You know actually that using the crystal helped accelerate the journey by several weeks, and you are just maybe 1 to 2 days away from Saltspire at this point.
Yeah, that was a pretty good boost. We were just 1 to 2 days away.
From Saltspire?
Yeah.
Yes, we should not be far now.
Have any of you been to Saltspire before? I've never been there.
I used to fight in the arenas there before I moved Carlin and Zan further south. Yes, we also went through Saltspire briefly on our way, but I know it was under the control of a pirate captain. De Rey was her name, and she was generally welcoming of all kinds. It was known that the island was controlled by pirates, but I think the regional governments don't care enough to come this far out into the seas.
Well, guys, if we get to Saltspire, what do you think we should do? Look for lodging first, and then maybe get our land legs?
Jareth, who has out his accounting book and all the gold neatly stacked into piles and organized, goes, well, we got enough money here that we could certainly rent a room wherever we want. Shows you the notebook and he goes, see, right here, I got a 6-way split.
All right.
I assume an Oleg over there gets a cut too.
You do not need to pay us. Our rescue from the undead was enough. As long as we make it safely to Saltspire, you can drop us there, and that will be payment enough.
Well, they also said that we could make some coin while we're there as well. I mean, this is a lot, but I mean, we could make even more.
Yes, certainly if we're going to make any effort to find the Rod of the Sea Kings, we probably need ample supplies, and certainly if the Duke is going to make a run for that artifact, we probably need to find some way to slow him down as well.
Shouldn't we notify the local authorities about these roving bands of undead?
Oleg
like
laughs out
someone
loud.
would have noticed.
Local authorities, you are funny. Local authorities. In this part of the world, the local authority is you and your hammer or your axe. There is no authorities here. There are only the pirate crews.
So it's the pirates' law.
The laws of the sea.
Aye.
Laws every sailor should know. Where are you from, Gnome?
Originally, I'm from Neverwinter.
That is far to the north. There are many slavers that lived there once.
It's true. It's pretty rampant up there, but they tried to cut back. I mean, the laws and all that, but, you know, crime's everywhere.
Slavery is
try to-
everywhere, my friend. I was a slave once, too.
It's terrible. I'm sorry.
Everyone has a story, my friend. It is fine. Sansa nods. I, too, was a slave before my master rescued me.
That's really terrible, you guys. How did you get free?
Well, I am from a land called Zakara, and I was enslaved by the Ikaria, Yak men. Oleg continues his story. My brother and I worked in the salt mine as children before we were chosen to fight in the pits. After I killed him in the arena, I fled and met Zan and Carlin while in Chult. I was wounded fighting a terrafolk and dying from throat leeches, but they nourished me back to health, and I will help them from now on. So that is Oleg's story and why he's with Zan and Carlin. I believe I have said my piece, and I'm going to check on Carlin and Zan to make sure they are safe from the fight. You all have a good evening. And Oleg goes below deck.
Good night, Oleg. Thank you for all the help.
Well, I believe Oleg stated correctly that Saltspire is likely the next closest unaligned city. We passed through briefly on our way south, so I know a few people there. As I said, the island was controlled by a privateer captain, Scarlet de Rey, and we were welcomed easily enough. We could at least collect supplies to journey elsewhere or earn enough coins to fund our more extended voyage. You all suddenly hear from the back of the deck where you thought Oleg was. Smashing idea, capital. Yes, yes. You see Wagliff has wandered up on deck in his robes.
Oh no.
Saltspire was once the seat of an earthen mage whose name was lost to obscurity, but whose talents with the arcane did not go unnoticed. His untimely demise while reshaping the island was the only remarkable thing about him, unfortunately. He dropped it on his head. Wise to stay aground of any situation, if you ask me. And don't be gobsmacked if you find his bones jutting out of a random butte. Well, all buttes aside, Master, did you say earthen mage? I believe that means we should find some elemental stones on that island as well. It seems Saltspire would be our next destination.
I think we could do with some supplies.
I mean, it works for me.
All right, well, I believe I'll set the ship's course then.
I was concerned about the cauldron and maybe we like doing watches or something.
Cauldron is fine. Lady Sansa said it's fine. This was a one-off occurrence and I trust her. And if you're really that concerned, I can cast Alarm on the thing. I begin preparing my ritual to cast Alarm on the cauldron. It's a 20-foot bubble and I can cast it around the cauldron. So if anything flies out of it, I will be notified.
You now have an alarm? I certainly would feel more comfortable with an alarm knowing the Duke is in these waters.
Yeah, I would prefer not to run into the Duke again.
What was that, by the way? He kind of just was here and then not.
It had something to do with those black coins, the Wackens.
You see Sansa awkwardly rubs her neck and takes a step or two backwards. Ah, that coin. Yes. Well, you see, that coin had Wagluff's mark upon it, and many years ago, Wagluff had deposited his writings into the Sword Coast Traders Bank, and that was before Walkhand. After her corruption during the Spell Plague, it became the Black Vault when her church seized direct control of the bank. No one other than their cultists has been inside since. I can't begin to imagine how the Duke plans to get inside, but it almost certainly has to do with Wagluff's writings and the Rod of the Sea King. The only stories I've ever heard were that vast wealths from ancient empires all over the planet have been dumped into the vault and not been seen since, and that some kings have been called mad trading their entire empire's fortunes to get some of the black coins. But our black coin wasn't technically a black coin until later.
What do you mean until later?
Once the Sword Coast Traders Bank fell, the coin changed. We didn't look at it till many years later after the deposit had been made, but by then the coin was a black coin. The coins are magically keyed at the Sword Coast Traders Bank for the deposit boxes. Somehow Walkend must have taken control of the bank and therefore taken control of the coins. I've only had one other interaction with the Duke, but those few have been unsettling at best. I know he is a powerful spellcaster and appears to frequent most commonly in necromancy. His crew, the Rag and Bones, is exclusively undead creatures. His oarsmen are tireless, and he outraces any vessel without magical means. Besides his theft of Wagluff's coin, you'll understand why I gave him the coin immediately. Along the Snowdown Ride in the Moonshay Isles at Care Westfall, which is over here. It's a mountain range right here on Snowdown in the Moonshay Isles. That's this whole collection of islands. My master was in residence researching the vampire lady Eliza de Ressen when a hurricane threatened the coast. The Duke purposefully hunted the escape routes and raided or sunk any vessel. He forced the living into slavery and sold them, or the deceased were forced to join his ranks, and all of our losses were his gain.
How many years ago was this?
This was about 5 years ago before we arrived in Gloomwatch. Fortunately, our vessel was capable of flight at that time, and we were able to leave unhindered, but we were unable to rescue almost anyone.
So your master's health declined over the last just few years then?
Yes, unfortunately, as we had been making our way south, he was already showing signs of the dementia, but it hadn't been as full-fledged as it was now. Yes, I do think that we had many adventures in Care Westfall. That fortress had a most interesting variety of thyme that they prepared their soups and meats with. I'll get my master to bed if you don't mind his presence. So Sansa escorts Wagluff to the cabin. Everybody else is left alone on the deck. The ship, is making headway perfectly well with the sails deployed. Assume that one day's travel passes in the long rest. You spend your time sharing a meal with Zan, Karl, and Oleg, Wagluff, Sansa. You spend time talking, perhaps very briefly amongst yourselves, and then your long rest is concluded. Finally, a tiny green dot becomes visible along the horizon, the Isle of Saltspire.
Land
Main
ho!
Island hosts a city of at least several hundred, with blocks of row houses and a handful of larger manses that make up most of the actual town. A fighting arena and fields of food crops are visible near the inner lagoon. A second, smaller but taller pinnacle adorns the island's northern portion. A lush forest encircles most of that section. A cluster of fortress-like buildings is partially visible through the trees, and the most prominent landmark of the island, a tall ivory tower, presumptively the Salt Spire. Docks ring the island with all manner of vessels anchored, and more complex structures near the mansions even have cranes built to help load the ships. Two ships in particular stand out: an impressive galleon with distinct crimson sails, and a very large, heavily armed carrack, low in the water, heavy with cargo. They are too far from view to make out further detail. A line of fallen stones occludes the lagoon that makes up the freshwater access portion of the island, and a pier, clearly intended for unexpected guest crafts, given its state of disrepair, juts from the sandy portion of the island. So here is the Isle of Saltspire. As I said, this is the guest dock. As you're looking at the map, there's the manor we were talking about. There's the white ivory tower. There's a gatehouse kind of separating that rest of the island there. Here's kind of the row houses I was talking about. And then you can sort of spot there's an open air market. Yep. Ooh. And then there's two very large mansions that stand out in particular. Right here is the carrack, that big like warship. And then over here is the vessel with the red sails.
Jareth, once we land, do you think it would behoove us to go to the market and maybe sell some of these baubles and then, divvy up the loot?
Yeah.
Everybody can go a little shopping?
Yeah, if I'd spend a time or two in the market, I could wheel and deal.
All right. The boat makes berth at the dock. Is everybody disembarking? Some people disembarking?
Well, I have the loot pile, so I have to go sell it so I can get everybody their money, and then they can go spend it however they please. So I have a chore to take care of.
At least Jareth is disembarking.
Well, I'm going with Jareth. But remember, This is a pirate town, guys. We should probably travel together. Just in case. Brute force and all that.
I would join the two little ones for their protection.
Oleg is staying with Carlin and Zan. Now that the ship is docking, they're getting ready to disembark. They're getting off the ship, but they're going to go do their own thing. And then Sansa says she's going to remain on the ship with Wagluf and make sure that no one else boards the vessel except you all. So that if you don't find accommodations or don't want to pay for them, you can sleep on the ship in your room.
I'm just going to stay on the ship.
All right. Willie is going to stay on the ship for now.
No, wander about town.
You disembark unceremoniously, although your arrival has not gone unnoticed. Only the largest vessels remain during the day hours, anchored before their next long haul or trading a few crates and barrels back and forth from their cargo hold. Most of the smaller boats currently carry the island's fishermen at sea, and the town appears less populated than the size of the city would suggest. Before they go, Zan and Carlin say, well, we can't thank you all enough for saving our lives, and we're going to set up shop here, probably over by that market in the coming days, and I think I'm going to start a pot of perpetual stew. So if you all decide that you want some, you come by and see us, and you're welcome to a helping at no charge, of course. And thank you again.
That is mighty generous of you. Thank you.
Making your way up the sandy stretch along the causeway, you spot a tavern, the Drunk Skunk. Further beyond, you can see the arena towards the high elevation of the island and an open-air market towards the piers, and several imposing manors in the background. Even on this small remote island in the southern part of the world, agricultural developments occur out of necessity, if nothing else. Fields of cane sugar and hemp grow in organized rows. At the same time, a few rice paddies dot the steps toward the island's primary source of fresh water, a large waterfall that nourishes the fields. Workers pick their way through the crops toward shacks on the distant side where the raw plants are processed and packed for sale. Before you get off the boat, Sansa says, do your best to avoid those church fanatics. It seems they're relatively harmless to everyone, but they hate all currency other than their black coins. I suspect they'll be in the markets trying to trade for their coins.
I mean, they have no reason to be hostile to us. We don't have any of those coins. They wouldn't want anything from us.
I don't know about that, little man, but I'll protect you.
Yeah,
As
thanks.
you go to enter the market, you see that there's a lot of, tents kind of the outside, and then there's some larger trade houses and barter houses and things kind of set up, formal buildings, but there's plenty of tents. As you start to make your way into the market, you notice that there is a group of these three individuals staring directly at all of you. They're not saying anything, they're not moving, they're just standing there staring at you.
Unfazed, I walk past them.
You see the center one cocks their head slightly and turns to look specifically at you, Jack. Do you have any currency you'd like to declare?
I turn to look at in the empty mask socket where its eyes should be. I have no currency for you. And I continue to walk past them.
They turn and regard the rest of you still staring. And do you all wish to declare any currency with the church?
I only have my Baldur's Gate coins. Just some gold doubloons, that's it.
The church is always happy to accept any currency in trade.
Wait, church? What? Church of what?
The Church of Walcan.
And while they're having this conversation, I'm just going to leave. I don't even want to talk to these people.
Okay, bye.
I scurry off.
Sibo also takes off.
That's what I pictured. It was just him like going, and then like as he turns around, guys, and like everybody's already left.
Well, you are able to offload your goods at your discretion with no further inquiries, although you do notice that repeatedly throughout the transactions, more cultists continue to walk by, observing the transactions, just sort of eerily staring at you at times. You can't really get a beat on them. They don't seem threatening. They don't have any weapons. They don't want to hurt you.
Cass just stays close to the two little ones and just kind of looks cool,
Unless
striking
certain-
poses.
So you guys are able to sell everything. What do you want to do next?
Yeah, I was gonna say if it's a 5-way split, it's what 181 gold and 20 silver.
There's your arena, because you'd also sort of have to pass by that to get around town. A ring of stone slabs encircles a giant pit of sand. Wood bleachers, devoid of spectators presently, line the pit's rim. A few wooden crates and barrels, remnants of the last fight, dot the arena. The silence of the arena is deafening, however. Despite severely badly damaged, discarded weapons and armor bits still lying in the sand, there is no organic material remaining within the pit.
So guys, what do you think about maybe checking out a notice board or something? Maybe we could like do something here. Well, look, if we're looking for gainful employment, that's an avenue that we could approach. Or we could just go to the tavern and get really fucking drunk.
There you
You're
go.
fine, yeah.
Finally, a good idea.
All right, let's get fucked up.
To the tavern.
All right.
Well-
The Drunk Skunk stands as the only public tavern in Saltspire, and they proudly wear that distinction. The building is vast, even by traditional tavern standards, and could house well over 100. The building looks weathered, and boards haphazardly nailed in various angles give the building a uniquely skunky look, with aging and painting in multiple stages, lending a black and white appearance to the wood outside. Signage outside the pub clearly denotes numerous rules, but the only rule highlighted in large red print at the top is no weapons or fights. So, Artie enters the tavern. The tavern's interior is a rush of smells: fresh baking bread, foamy ales, the tang of a stiff liquor, and the scent of some kind of sweet roasting meats wafted from the kitchen. Despite being midday, the tavern has a colorful motley of patrons, mainly the elderly, too riddled with arthritis from years of working the sea, now passing time sharing stories of the one that got away. A skulking gnome and a giant orc sit at another table, mainly keeping to themselves. But upon seeing you, the large orc steps forward and walks over. Weapons at door.
Okay.
No bag of holding.
What?
No bag of holding.
I don't have one.
So
what did
I
I do?
assume everyone relinquishes their weapons and leaves them at the door.
Yeah, no, I totally
I don't
left
e-
my bag of holding. I don't have a weapon on me.
And
Okay.
over here is a Durger working the bar. He's polishing a glass with his hand, sees you, and immediately looks up, smiles. Greetings, my friends. What will you drink today? Mi speciales include Old Monk rum, soju and beer, Empress, elderflower, Amish gin and tonic, strawberry rose, lychee mojito, hibiscus prosecco cocktail, or if you are feeling like you wish to have a walk on the wild side, I have a hometown specialty, the jungle juice.
Well, you're in luck, barkeep. I'll take one of everything. Line it up.
Oh, my friend, let me get you the jungle juice first. It tastes like I milked it straight from the jungle's balls, but it gets the job done. Are you thirsty, my friends? Hearing a gnome patron call out for one of everything, he immediately sets to work, dropping a large tray, multiple glasses, and you see him starting to work cocktails. Please, my friend, find a table, my best table for you. I will bring my drinks to you.
Guys, I found a big one over here. Come on.
Fine.
I scurry up the chair so I can sit on it.
You
Sure,
see
it's just
out of the kitchen, 2 trays come floating, one carrying a large tray of baked breads and another carrying a wheel of cheese with a knife stuck in the center for you, and plops the 2 trays on the table. Please, my friends, you eat and enjoy while I prepare your drinks.
All right.
Here you go, my friends. You see he has a tray loaded with over 125 drinks. You asked for one of everything, my friend, so I have brought you one of everything intimidating. May I suggest that you start on the smaller end with the shots and then increase your way up to the larger drinks? I'll tell you, I've not seen many souls able to tolerate every drink on the menu. Lump has been one of the only ones to do it.
Well, guys, what do you think? Round robin? I do one, you do one?
I think you'll literally die if you try and drink all that.
Tell me, friends, how is it that you come to have this kind of money to buy one of every kind of my drinks?
Actually, that is a good question. How much did you suddenly decide to spend, Sibo?
I don't know. How much is my tab?
Well, 125 drink special is at least 100 gold.
Oh, I got it, guys. It's on me.
Ah, very generous friend. Now tell me, how did you come to be here, my friends?
We adventurers.
Adventurers?
I think at this point, I think the word is refugee.
Refugees, adventurers? Wonderful. Saltspire welcomes it all.
I will walk the coins over and pay promptly.
I figured I'd pay now before I can't walk.
An excellent idea, my friend. Back in my home city of Mesro, I often made sure everyone paid first. I think you are going to be one of my good friends.
Nothing wrong with having a new friend.
He sticks his hand out. Gin tubs, my friend.
Sibo, at your service.
Sibo it is. So what are you all doing in town now, my friends? Did you come to drink in the middle of the day?
No, he came to drink in the middle of the day. I'm thinking about having a lunch.
Ah.
Well, no. We came in search of employment for future funds to fund our ship. In which case, we thought getting drunk in the middle of the day was the best solution.
You may find yourselves disappointed, my friends. Unfortunately, the arena is closed.
Oh, what happened?
Ah, see. The island used to be a fortress of some Waterdeep somebody. The mayor was a holdover from those Waterdavian lords' days. After the Waterdavian naval occupation returned home, Marion Barry was left with a skeleton crew to run the island. He could not hold the fort when Scarlet Sails and her royal consorts showed up, but they didn't take the island. Scarlet said they would hold it, but they vowed they would keep the pirate crews in line and Marion would continue to run the show. Then she built the arena and we had peace and prosperity here until that accursed Black Ark came. He spits. Within weeks of the church's arrival, the mayor shuttered the arena and the church replaced the town watch. They monitor all transactions in the market commons and offer to trade their black coins. We know not to take them. The church keep to themselves during the day, but they have a curfew at midnight. Nobody knows what they did to convince the mayor. But not a soul wants this church here anymore. Maybe you should talk to my new security if you want work. Biggs and Lump were the arena promoters before it got shuttered. If anyone's going to have work for you, it'd be them.
Biggs and Lump. You know what? I got a lot of extra drinks. I'm sure that will really smooth over the conversation.
Kasurga has already had 2 shots during the conversation.
You're drinking about a turn, Kasurga!
I thought we already started.
Biggs, Lump, why don't you guys come over here? We got some drinks. We need to talk.
You see Lump looks up at you almost excitedly, but Biggs continues to just sit there sulking. Biggs looks up from his sulking. The fuck you want, eh?
I just offered some free drinks. If you want to come
Let
over,
me
look at what we
give you a
got.
lump of ice, mate. Go back to the near farm, have a pimple and blush before I have Lump here show you how he got his namesake.
Well, I was curious. I wanted to talk to you about the ring. The ring.
Lump points over. Shut it, Lump. No. What ring? What fucking ring?
The fighting ring. There's this, about what's going on.
Are you gonna stop a cult occupation?
Well, I mean, we probably shouldn't scream it out loud in the middle of the bar. Come over here and drink with us.
What the fuck are we gonna scream about? They're every fucking where.
If they're in here, we don't want them to hear us. Get over here.
You see Lump continues to get more insistent. No! Damn it, Lump. Lump gets up. Lump won't fight Potato Man. No, damn you! Just cause you wanna arm wrestle doesn't mean we gotta be on the floor. Lump continues to stare stubbornly at Biggs, pointing at Willie. No, damn you gods! Damn you, Lump! If you lose, it's coming out of your cut! Lump walks over. Lump won't wrestle. He sits down on the edge of this table and places his left arm down, reaching out towards Willie, not even knowing his name.
I got 10 gold on Willie.
Come on, Willie. I think you got this. And I'm going to touch him and give him guidance.
What do I have to roll to get it?
Oh, whatever the DM says.
A strength check, as you were attempting to be stronger than him.
Come on, Willie. You got this.
So 15.
You Back and forth. Willie and Lump go for a few minutes, and finally, Willie slams down Lump's hand at the end. Lump sort of stops, pauses, and stares at Willie. Lump lose? Lump drink! He grabs the biggest drink off of your tray and pounds it. He points at Willie. You drink. Lump drink. You guys see Biggs roll back in his chair. You're paying for all of it, you stupid fuck.
It's already paid. We're good. Let's party!
All right, Constitution check. All right, you both stay up drinking. Next drink.
I'm going to inspire you. I'm going to give you an inspiration die when it gets a little bit harder.
So Lump grabs the third drink, pounds it, and drops. Biggs sees the Lump drops. Oh, for love of Queen and fucking country. What do you cunts want?
We want to have a good time. It looks like your friend here can't hold his liqueur.
All right, look, if you want to do anything on this island, then you're gonna have to talk to Scarlet. And to talk to Scarlet, you're gonna have to prove you're worth her time. We can't leave without raising suspicion immediately, or basically conceding the island to those cult fuckers. You just arrived. They don't care if you bugger off. Before we landed on Salt Spire, we had a few insurance policies in case things ever took a tumble down the sink. We did a duck and dive with a cache of weapons about 50 leagues east of here. You bring those weapons back, you're all bees and honey. I'll make sure you get a proper sit down with your royal mum herself. She'll think you're a proper muzzle and broca on the knocker.
I don't know what any of that means. I'd take a shot, but I'd be interested.
That's what Biggs is proposing, is if you'll recover the weapons, he'll vouch for you.
But what can we expect at this place? Is it guarded? Buried treasure? What is this? What are we talking about?
That's fair. There's a cave right when you get there. You can't miss it. It's sticking out of the water, but don't go that way. Land on the other side of the island and walk.
Okay.
That's it.
Do you have a map or anything?
Buddy, it's a little island. If you can't fucking find it, I'm not fucking vouching for you.
Hang on, I take a fifth drink.
I was gonna say, he's gonna need a con save now on the fourth and the fifth. And down he goes.
Serga. Oh, shit.
In truth, some of those were jungle juice.
How much is some?
About 1 in 4.
I appreciate you, Jin.
I knew there was no way they could drink all of it, even if you shared with all of my patrons. And some of these people, he points to the table, some of those idiots like the jungle juice. You see the blue-skinned dragonborn just goes, and flashes this very toothless grin.
I start shooting these shots down. 1, 2, 3, right, like in quick succession.
Con saves from you. Ooh, look at that. Sibo does fine.
I've had my up-and-comings in taverns, so I could hold my liqueur.
Well, Jin, here's 10 gold. Call it a tip.
Thank you, my friend. I hope that you stay thirsty. I'll tell you what, anything else that the party wishes to do in the tavern? It's assumed that Willie is carrying most of the party home, since he, I'm assuming, declines to indulge in the liquor.
Well, I've had several, so I'm good.
Oh, okay.
I had my lunch and I didn't really want the drinks, because I know better than to believe 100 drinks for one gnome is a good idea.
There was more liquid than gnome.
You want to see how many drinks you can go before you get blackout drunk?
3 more. 1, 2, 3.
Oh!
Oh,
And
there
there
it is. Down goes Sibo. Well, I believe it's safe to say that this day you're going to be spending on Salt Spire. All right. The party collects their respective members remaining and makes back for the ship. You rest, recover for the next day, and I think just in case, Kaz and Sibo better roll a d20.
Hey, 16.
Ooh, great, cool. Kaz, how about you, buddy? Oh, there it is. So you're going to start with 1 level of exhausted? Yeah, because you have a hangover. So you are exhausted. So your ship swiftly makes the distance to the island Biggs described, but as you get closer, you realize something is off. The air brings a chill, and you begin to see every breath. A subtle knock, thunk, 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 occasionally echoes over the ship. You realize it's chunks of ice bumping against the boat as it continues to move forward. You see a dense piece of ice jutting from the island and make berth. Ill-prepared for the cold, however, you already feel it seeping into your bones. I will need a Constitution saving throw from everyone who has not prepared clothing for cold weather. Ooh, Sibo, you are exhausted. Willie is
Exhaustion
fine.
no Good.
And Jack
so
is
I'm
fine. Kaz, you have 2 levels of exhaustion. Kaz is
Because you-
hungover and freezing. All right. You can easily find the cave on this small island. You likewise did not expect the smell to lead you right to it. Nothing specific, but the smell would probably best be described as landing somewhere between a diaper dumpster fire and a formaldehyde dunked skunk.
We need to get this and leave. It is
I didn't think it
very
was good.
cold here.
A knowledge nature from anybody. Willie, you realize that these plants look very young and way too big to be that young. They don't match. The plants look much, much bigger than they're supposed to.
Okay.
So it's extra large
Perhaps-
shrubbery.
Perhaps you could even roll a perception on some of the shrubbers.
We are
No,
golden.
they appear like shrubbers. So, in the room, you notice already, as I've described, there's a horrible stink. Just a smell permeates the room, it permeates your nose. You notice that clearly several areas of the room have been used for storage, but you notice that many of the crates and barrels appear to have claw marks, teeth marks, chew marks, like creatures have been getting inside of them. You notice over here a table appears to be set and a lantern is lit, and then another lantern is also lit here, and you observe what appears to be a makeshift bedroom. Sibo, and I'll give Willie a bonus roll if you'll both give me a perception.
Right, mine's going to be unfortunately at disadvantage. Rick rolled well.
Guys, heads up. They aren't plants.
And
No kidding.
that's when they become visible. So, standing in the back of the room, you see a troglodyte waving staff made of ice and ice in his hand. And you see that the plants have come to life. And then there's also 2 ice methods that you can barely
geez.
see in the corner. With the start of combat, I will call this session officially to a close.
All right, guys, if you're watching this back, thank you so much for watching this to the end. Really do appreciate it. If you want to see more D&D, go ahead, hit that like button. If you're here from last week and you came by for week 2 of D&D, I really appreciate it. Or if you want to see us live, you can catch us here on YouTube or over on Twitch. Links are in the description. All right, have a great night, everyone.